All right, so part 2 there was pretty short, but I wanted to make sure that we had a good break, so let's continue right now with part 3 of chapter 4.
Probably isn't how you pictured your first spring festival, huh?
Not exactly.
Coffee?
I'm all right. Thanks, though.
Good. 'Cause we're, actually out.
Pike, why am I here?
The long and short of it is, Diane is charging you with stealing her USB drive.
That's bullshit. I haven't done anything wrong. They're the criminals here.
Did you steal this USB drive or not?
Lawyer.
At least tell me you looked at it.
I can't. Sorry.
You're conducting an investigation into Typhon, right? Everything you've been looking for is on that drive.
Despite my best efforts, the case is closed. The order came down today. I did what I could, but, the evidence just wasn't there.
It's literally right there.
Sorry, Alex.
I have the evidence. Right here.
It doesn't matter.
Look, what happened to my brother wasn't an accident. It was criminal. The files on that drive prove it.
That could be true. Let's say it is. The issue is, you stole Typhon's property. I can't work with that.
I just handed you a smoking gun. It shouldn't matter how I got it.
Maybe not, but it does. Alex, you're not thinking about this clearly.
Seems pretty clear to me.
Diane wants to charge you with computer fraud. That's a federal crime, Alex. 5 to 10, easy.
You know what? Fuck Diane. This isn't justice. This is a joke.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
I talked to her, and despite how angry she is at everything you did, she's willing to let it go. If you agree to drop everything, Typhon won't press any charges.
Why would she do that?
She just wants this whole thing to go away.
Yes. Oh, boy.
This is how to make that happen.
Fuck that. I'm not signing anything.
Alex.
No. Typhon buried something in the mountains. Something so massive they ignored Gabe's call and set off the blast just to cover it up. Don't you want to know what it is?
What do you mean, cover it up?
Another blast, unannounced, set off at the exact same time at the old mining site. And all of it happened just a few weeks before inspections were set to begin. Come on, Pike. It's all right here.
Like I said, it doesn't matter. Alex, please, just sign the form, and we can both go back to the party.
Okay.
No.
Alex, this is not an offer that you can
I
choose.
said no.
No is not an option.
What are you so scared of?
See for yourself.
Shit. What could be in that envelope?
So, just a quick note. If you, dear viewer, were like here and we were watching a movie together, to a very large extent, I'm completely silent during the movies, during television shows, during other things, because I don't want to disrupt other people's experience of watching and engaging the story. And indeed, in a lot of these story beats, I am very quiet because I want you to be able to go along without having me interject every once in a while. But there's something that just... Sometimes there's moments that will elicit an immediate and non-voluntary response. And right now, it's Pike's bullying of using his position of authority against a woman in her early 20s is still my best guess for Alex. I'm sure that there's some way to like backtrace this, but let's go with early 20s and saying, you're going to be charged with a federal crime. You're going to go to prison for 5 to 10 years, and all you have to do to make it all go away is to sign away any right to hold Typhon responsible for the negligent death of your brother. And like that elicits responses from me that I don't necessarily have direct control of. Moving on. Let's look at it and read it. I'm not
A
signing
deal.
it.
Just like they offered Charlotte. Fuck me.
Typhon Mining Company, known as the Releasor, agrees to drop all charges against Alexandra Chen, hereby referred to as the Releasee, one federal count of computer fraud. In exchange, the Releasee must cease and desist all efforts to defame, surveil, or otherwise harm the Releasor. Fuck off. Okay, so Alexandra Chen, brother Gabriel Chen, died in an accident related to Typhon mining blast. Intel shows subject has a high level of determination and efficacy. Negative affectation has persisted beyond predicted bereavement period. Suspect also appears to have possession of confidential data and information. And there's a photograph there through Alex's window into her apartment. Investigation type threat assessment. Observation dates from the first, so basically the month of May. 5-1, began following subject after meeting with Mac Loudon. Subject met with man identified as Ryan Lucan, little else of note. 5-13, subject spent 3 hours in apartment, Wi-Fi screen monitoring, revealed searches into Typhon history and legal litigation records. 5-25, subject met and spoke with client in Black Lantern, appears subject has stolen an object from the client. Ryan Lucan, close friend Gabriel Chen, died in an accident related to Typhon mining blast, assisting Alexandra Chen with her efforts against Typhon, involved in and extremely distraught over accident, subject has a high level of knowledge of both geography and residents of Haven. And then there's a photograph of him embracing... Is that when they hugged on the mountainside? That looks like it, that photograph when Alex hugged Ryan. Stephanie Gingrich, close friend, Gabriel Chen, died, assisting Alexandra Chen in her efforts has proven resourceful and dangerous. And there's a photograph of her on the phone. I can't quite tell if we've been in the location where she's calling from. Oh, that's the record store. Yeah, okay, I can see the shelf of records there.
Is this a threat?
What did you expect? Huh? The Typhon, a global organization with billions in revenue, an army of lawyers, and who knows how many politicians in their pockets would just throw up their hands and say, "You got us."
I thought I could get justice for Gabe.
Yeah, well, Typhon has their own idea of justice.
Shit.
Believe me, I want nothing more than to make these fuckers pay. I've learned the hard way that it's not possible. They're too big, too connected, too ruthless. You can hate me if you want. Call me a coward. But I don't want to lose you like we lost Gabe.
Pike is terrified of Typhon. I bet if I took his fear away. But it's not just about me. Steph and Ryan are in danger too. Fuck. I want to hurt Typhon so bad. But can I really put their lives at risk along with mine?
They're adults. Okay, this is one of those moments where you think ahead to say, well, why don't we call up Steph and Ryan and say, hey, remember your best friends? Remember Gabe? Remember how much you loved him? Well, I've decided to sign an affidavit absolving Typhon Mining of all of the responsibility that they have in his death because I'm afraid for your lives. What have we seen from Ryan or Steph that would lead us to believe that they would be in any way okay with that? I don't want them to get hurt, but the thing is, Typhon is already hurting people. Are they willing to hurt Steph and Ryan? Maybe. Possibly. Probably. But we know for a fact that they are going to continue hurting people to cover up their secrets because they've already done it. And the fact that Jason here is so terrified of it is more corroborating evidence of it. We literally can't sign that affidavit.
Do you want to risk your life over this? Gabe, Mac, Alex, who's next? Fuck. Just keep your head down, Tony. You're just a shitheel. Typhon's major league. Typhon doesn't lose. Typhon disappears people. Let them get killed. Not you.
I know you're afraid. I am too. I know you think that Typhon is too big, too invincible. But they're not. I will bring them down. I just need your help. Just have a little courage.
I should have said for Gabe.
Please.
Fuck. I'll think about it.
Thank you.
Get the hell out of here.
Really?
Alex. Be careful.
Every interaction I had with Pike in that entire conversation was centered in my head around the idea that, hold on a second, pause. That guy became a cop for some reason, and I don't think it was to enforce Typhon sort of like on the side on their payroll. He doesn't elicit fear. No, sorry, he doesn't experience fear. He isn't embroiled in fear if this is the outcome that he'd wanted for himself. So everything I chose there was about, this isn't right. I thought I could get justice. It shouldn't matter. This is, what do they call it? Like fruit from the poison tree or whatever. The truth has to get out there. And so all of the decisions that I made there was around that. During that last choice, I saw have courage and I chose it reflexively. without then seeing that the other option had been for Gabe, because Jason and Gabe were close friends. Had I an extra heartbeat to have made that decision, had I just taken that, I would have said for Gabe. I just wanted to explain sort of like where I was in that whole scene. Alex, come see me when you get the chance. Signed, Jed.
Those pictures. How long have they been watching us? And what will they do if... I have no idea what to do next. Maybe talking to Jed will help me feel better. First, I need to get out of this dress. It was special for me too, Steph. Enjoy that ice cream.
Okay, so let's look through. Avalanche Ice Cream says the spring festival is over, but the fun continues at the ice cream. Avalanche Ice Cream, share your favorite memory from the festival in the comments and get one scoop on us. Julia says, I liked it when Josh burned his mouth on the chili. Josh Hopkins said, I didn't, probably meaning that he didn't like it. You better get a free scoop on that burn stat. Taylor says, the music hands down. Avalanche Ice Cream also loved the set. Steph says, I finally grew a pair and told a very special girl how special she is. And the scariest part wasn't telling her. It was realizing how dumb I was for waiting this long. Avalanche Ice Cream, never missing the opportunity to make a sale, says, I think you deserve 2 scoops for that one. And Steph says, hell yeah. Okay, so actually, no, it's not a sale. They're just offering her 2 scoops. Damn it. Hold on. What a Festival Haven. We ate, drank, and made merry. We tasted chilies, rocked out to some music, and enjoyed a lovely spring night in our beautiful town. Thanks for another great year, everyone. Sunny had a great festival. Haven Springs says, thanks to our business partners and everyone who put so much work into making this festival possible. Lathe says, our pleasure. Smiles and laughter make it all worth it. And Black Lantern says it's the best part of the year.
I'm glad Ducky had a nice night. He deserves it.
He does. Ducky is a nice person. It is difficult for me to look at him hanging around in that bar all day, drinking his very favorite bourbon, and not think that he smells like a sour ashtray. But Alex hasn't brought it up, so I'm going to assume that he smells wonderful and is as pleasant to be around as he appears to be in the game. Jed says, really good to see you out there this year, Duck. Eleanor says, it's certainly time for new beginnings. And Sunny says, that's the spirit, Ducky.
Maybe I should start charging for my services.
My block writes, 2 of your neighbors have changed their relationship status. Josh Hopkins and Julia Crow are now in a relationship. Wow, we finally figured out the name of them. Charlotte writes, oh my God, finally. And Jesse writes, for real, man. Josh says, come on, did everyone know but us? So this is just me thinking aloud. If Alex doesn't take Charlotte's anger, is she still, like, participating in this? Boy, it does not feel good what happened to Charlotte. And then we're just on to that. And sorry, we're still not done with the journal. So that's Pike's fear, Steph's joy, Ducky's sadness. So let's read Ducky's sadness. I think sometimes we make reserved space in our head for particular people. The important ones, anyway. They become part of us, so permanent and immutable that eventually you can't imagine what it would even mean to be who you are without them. And then one day, they're gone. And all that's left is the space you cleared for them in your head. And you're not sure how to so much as breathe anymore. Maybe that's what it means to be haunted. Ducky doesn't know how to be Ducky without Tabs. Part of him feels like he spent the years since her death doing an impression, his best recollection of who he used to be when she was still here. I think when we danced, he remembered a little of who that person was. I think he could see a little of what Tab saw in him. And our lyrics are, the quotes are, I carved that myself. Look at the bottom. You're going to outlast this whole damn town. And the lyrics are, hoping to see you at the bottom when I finally drain the glass. I've outlasted this entire damn town. I want to see you dance again at last. So Ducky is really like getting to me, that whole story. Like, I'm going to move on. Steph is good at hiding her feelings. Maybe it has something to do with her LARPing, knowing how to wear a personality like a mask. But tonight I could tell that underneath that genuine excitement was a vein of anxiety. A tiny voice whispering, you have to deal with whatever comes after. She asked me to leave with her, to see the world with her. And all at once it occurred to me that the wide open sky above us would look a little different from some other rooftop in some other place. And for a second, I ached to see it. Little stages and little bars, a whole secret network of strangers waiting to be made less strange, even if for a night. Could I have that? Do I deserve it? And so is this getting to me as well. The quotes are back on the road fucking finally. You're my good luck charm. Kansas City, Vegas, wherever we want. And I wonder if you thought about what you need. Our lyrics are, cut the deck, pick a card. Maybe this is what I need. Someplace new, follow you, from Salem to the sea. They tore a wall down in Berlin. I could tear a wall down too. What if what I need is you? And then finally, our most up-to-date journal memory is Pike's fear. There's the threat that keeps you awake at night, all vigilant and terrified. There's the one you don't even know exists, so you sleep just fine. Guess which one is more likely to kill you. I thought I knew what Typhon was, but really I had no idea. Pike knew, and it terrified him. The horror of the witness, the paralyzed audience, strapped in and made to watch the same inevitable choreography performed again and again and again. What have you seen, Pike? Before Gabe, before me, what secrets did you have to keep, and how long did you have to keep them? I thought of Charlotte, of what I'd done to her anger. What if I took Pike's fear, swallowed it, made it mine? Would it do to him what I did to Charlotte? I had to take the risk. The quotes are, I don't want you to get hurt, keep your head down, Typhon doesn't lose, no isn't an option. And our lyrics are, Rat Girl, keep your head down, the cats will always win. Pen and shaking fist, cross your name off their list, I can't go through this again.
Yep. The tables seem to have turned, all right.
Have we really? Yeah, I guess we wouldn't have had a lot of time to clean up the foosball champion bottle.
Looks like I'm on my own now. I don't want to drag Ryan and Stefan any deeper.
They're not going to let you walk away from it. And indeed, you should let them know what the stakes are.
This isn't over, Gabe. I promise. I had no idea what I was getting into, did I? Buried secrets, evil mining corporations, death threats. I didn't realize how awful it would all be. I put my friends' lives in danger. For what? Was it all for nothing?
Okay, so we're gonna have to probably jump out of here unless we get some more dialogue about it. I do want to give it just a heartbeat more, but that feels like as much as we've got. I think that, so Alex needs to communicate with Ryan and Steph what's going on and exactly how severe the stakes are. She needs to do her best to make them understand. The reason that she needs to do this is that they need this information to make the, to have
Time for a change of clothes.
freedom to make their choice.
Ducky. Hope he's doing okay. Riley probably can't help me hack Typhon.
Now, the USB key remained with Pike, which sucks.
I think I'm all played out for tonight. Maybe I'll just bike out to the mine, dig up some answers myself. Ah, sweet distraction. Feels like the LARP was 100 years ago.
And it was like earlier today, too. All right, guitar we've looked at. Bed.
Can't wait to have nightmares tonight.
Boy, do I know what it's like to look at your pillow and think that.
I guess the night wasn't all bad.
Now, changing clothes might automatically prompt the next thing. I do want to see if there's anything that we can check out up on the roof. And there is not. Okay.
I need fresh clothes. The dresser calls to me. Might as well go talk to Jed now.
Okay, do we, just very quickly, do we have any other options? Nope, this is our canonical outfit.
I look better than I feel.
All right, one last option, just to see if we can go upstairs. Since we got changed. Nope, all right.
I feel a bit better. I guess I can go see the boss man now.
The number one thing is, I think it's time to start talking about rent, except that doesn't necessarily feel like this would be the night to do it.
Hey, Jed.
There she is. Have a seat. Something tells me you've had a more exciting spring festival than you planned for.
You saw Pike arrest me.
And let you go, apparently. Then there's that business with Ryan and Steph earlier today. I wasn't sure why it took all three of you to work out Diane's lunch order. I know you're used to looking out for yourself. Gabe was like that. But Haven's a community. We help each other. I want to help you. But first, you have to let me know what's going on.
Fuck it.
No.
What have I got to lose?
No, sorry. Jed is a guaranteed vote for Typhon. That's why I read through all of the different files that were on there. I know that Alex feels a little bit backed into a corner, but Jed is not a trustworthy actor here. I like Jed a lot, don't get me wrong. Jed's done Alex a lot of solids, but now we have to wonder how many of those solids were because you keep your enemies closer. And Jed was maybe advised by Typhon, we want you to keep Alex someplace where we can keep an eye on her. I think that this is a very bad idea. I would never choose to tell Jed. Oh. I wasn't expecting an option. I don't like any of these options, actually. Well, you know what? We've got to tell him. Apparently, we have to tell him. So we might as well open with the big one. If we're not afforded any other options, then we're going to lay it out for him, and then he gets the freedom to make his decision on how he wants to deal with the truth.
Typhon killed Gabe. I have proof.
What proof?
I stole it from Diane. Emails and documents proving there was a second explosion the night Gabe died. To cover something up, Jed. Some secret they buried. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what to do next. But I'm not giving up. Not ever.
I know what they're hiding.
Please, Jed. What's the truth? What are they afraid of?
Typhon's the devil that runs this town. I've been carrying their secrets for far too long. I know what they buried in the mountains.
Tell me.
I'll do one better. I'll show you. There, up ahead.
Where are we?
Middle of nowhere. About 2 clicks that way is the mining site where you search for Ethan. 5 clicks that way is town.
What is this thing?
Ventilation shaft. They're scattered everywhere. Over the years, mines grow into mines, creating a labyrinth under Haven. What you're searching for is down below.
Jed. Why are you sad?
I'm sorry, kid.
Okay. Just put the gun down.
I tried to talk you out of it. Scare you off. I was sure those pictures of Ryan and Steph would do the trick. But you were relentless. Won't leave damn well enough alone.
You don't have to do this.
I do. 12 years ago, I made a mistake. The kind of thing that you can't undo. But Typhon made me a deal. A way to save my town. Give my boy a normal life. I never wanted Gabe to get hurt.
Go to hell.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so start saying anything. Just anything. If Alex hadn't taken Charlotte's anger, is that the way that scene? This is a rhetorical question. I don't actually want to know. The first thing that I think in my head is that snap of anger when Alex says "go to hell." It reminds me of Charlotte's anger. I read through the My Block posts and I read through the text messages and I catch up on everything that's happened prior to this moment every time that we start a new episode, because I want to have the fullest view that I possibly can of the life that Alex, or whoever the main character is, has lived outside my view and outside the moments that we get to see, because she forms relationships with others and she has there's additional developments that happen outside the main details of the game. And one of those things is the fact that Typhon had listed Jed as being a reliable vote in the upcoming town council vote to grant them additional land rights to expand their mining operations, and he was an absolute lock. He was such a lock that Typhon was relying on him to also turn Ducky into a yes vote as well. They felt like they had Jed absolutely there. And when we read that, I thought to myself, okay, well, Jed was a miner himself. He felt a high degree of camaraderie with the people that he worked with. There was that whole thing where he got a bunch of them out of a mining accident, and maybe that was what prompted him to retire, but that he does remember those years very fondly and credits those things for the economic prosperity there in Haven. So I didn't immediately find that extremely suspicious. But after it becomes clear that Typhon is surveilling Alex inside her own place, that it, like, the first way that you think that it goes down is Alex reports to Pike that she has the USB key, and then maybe Pike goes ahead and tells Diane that the USB key has been found and asks her what to do about it. But Pike felt fearful. He wasn't angry. He's not a willing stooge of Typhon in the same way that I bluntly feel that Diane is. So it's not that he wouldn't have said that, it's that makes less sense than there being a different informant. And as soon as we got the note from Jed, my first thought was, okay, it's time to talk. It's time to have that conversation about paying rent. And then when I was thinking about it, even as we were going downstairs and you heard me say it doesn't really feel like the night for it, this is the night after the LARP and after the Spring Festival. That's gonna be the night that Jed sits down Alex and says, okay, here's your monthly expenses. That's just, why not the next morning? Or like the bar is going to be closed tomorrow. Why not Monday? It doesn't have to be right now. Everybody just had a great time. It's not necessarily the moment to say, hey, in order to continue staying in your dead brother's apartment, here's your monthly lease. Look it over carefully. Like, it just didn't make sense. So then I'm like, wow, Jed is asking a bunch of... Jed suddenly seems to know an awful lot about what's going on. And even before, like I said, I wouldn't have said anything at all as Alex. And then when Alex actually did respond, when Alex did say something to Jed, all she said were things that Jed would already know. I was thinking to myself as she laid out, Typhon killed my brother. We found a USB key. It has incriminating evidence that has everything that we need. And I'm not going to stop. The things that I thought in my head was either Jed already had that information, in which case Alex has lost nothing. Like Alex is only telling Jed things that Typhon has already informed him of, or she's giving Jed new information. You know, maybe Jed hasn't been kept up to speed by Typhon. Maybe he's just like gets along pretty well with them, and they said, hey, we have concerns about Alex. We think that she might be maliciously trying to come after us in an unfair fashion. Can you just let us know when she's at home, just so that we can keep an eye on her and make sure that she's not getting us up to trouble? And maybe Jed would go along with that without maybe feeling good about it, but without understanding the whole picture. And if those things were the case, then Alex telling him a bunch of things that Typhon didn't. They killed Gabe, and I can prove it, and I have evidence on why they would have done it. Then that might have turned a suspicious bystander into a close ally. So I actually liked what she said in its entirety. And then when he said, I know what you're looking for, and I'm going to take you out there tonight to show it to you, I was immediately, you heard me be very quiet. I was like, this seems extremely suspicious. Because, Jed, why don't we sit right here and you can describe it to me? What are you going to show me up there? If you want to go up there together, why don't we go ahead and grab Officer Pike? I hear that he's developed a backbone recently. So what I was not expecting, because you heard me express some concerns about Jed. What I was not expecting was the gun. What I was not expecting was the fact that he was actually himself going to disappear her. What I didn't want to interrupt the scene to say, when Jed was like acting all shifty-eyed there in the bar, I was thinking to myself, Alex is going to get herself chloroformed. There's going to be a set of hands that come up from behind her, and, you know, we're going to wake up someplace else. I wasn't expecting Jed to do the dirty himself. And I wasn't expecting her, even after he showed the gun, I wasn't expecting him to pull the trigger and knock her down the mine shaft. And then how brutal it is, like hitting the boards on the way down. I didn't see, and we're not meant to understand yet, where Alex got shot. And then that last moment of her sinking down, it is possible that the bottom of that mine shaft is filled with water. That over the... Forgive me for not remembering exactly how long that old ventilation shaft might have been present, but over however long it's been, rain and snow and other things collect down there, there could be many feet of water. Alex is very likely very badly wounded, might have a broken arm or some broken ribs from falling through that board, from those boards. Also got shot, but Jed, we haven't heard a lot about Jed being a marksman, so it sort of looked to me like maybe she got shot in the shoulder. In the real world, you get shot in the shoulder by, I'm not like gunman, but like a weapon of that caliber, you can just straight up die from that. It's not like in the movies, but we're not in the real world. We're in the world where somebody can read emotions and sometimes suspiciously accurate numbers off of somebody based on their, you know, jelly bean counts, off of somebody's emotional state. So I'm assuming that Alex is not dead and that this is not going to be the end of the adventure. Like just postscript, and the entire rest of the game you just play as Ryan. Although that would be so unexpected. That would be like such a massive twist. Like now you get to play, like you get to like press left bumper to switch between Ryan and Steph for the rest of the game and do this investigation. I would actually be super impressed by that, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see, anything else? Well, this might be our most muted episode ever. I simultaneously don't feel good about bringing that up as often as I do, but at the same time, it's so present because the whole point of doing this is to be able to enjoy this adventure with you, and I don't want to leave the music out of it. The soundtrack in these games is so important for the tone, for the pacing of the scenes, for everything else. And then there's just one where the music is so omnipresent that it's like, oh God, oh God, oh God, we're going to get muted for this. But if we do, we do, and we will endeavor to fix it. And if there's sections that are muted, check the show notes and we will have something in there that will hopefully describe, at least in vague, exactly what happened during that section. Alex and Steph kind of hooked up. They had one kiss, not really a hookup. But like I said, when I like it when a character's sexual orientations can sort of be introduced organically as part of the scenes. And when Alex is playing foosball against Steph and an option comes up on the screen and I just choose it instinctively, that then becomes my headcanon for what Alex's orientation is. What would you say in the moment without any time to think about it while you're heavily distracted by something else? What's your immediate gut reaction? And Alex's was, I'm into girls. And under those circumstances, why wouldn't you be into Steph? Steph's awesome, and Steph is clearly into her. And I really like the scene when Alex went up to Steph with the rose and just held it up because she couldn't say anything to Steph. And Steph just stops bopping and dancing, and she takes off her cans and is like, are you serious? It was really good. And then the scene with Ducky. The scene with Ducky really got to me because... I'm not even sure that I want to delve into it. I feel like it's probably self-evident if you're thinking to yourself, well, why would you be into it? Like, you know, clearly, all I can say is that worked really well for me. We've never heard from Tabs. Tabs is not like Izzy, where they're sort of like quasi-present in the moment, even though it seems like maybe Izzy's been gone for a while. Tabs looms as large or larger for Ducky than Izzy does for Steph. And it puts into perspective the earlier scenes that we had with Ducky when he was sitting there. They've done such a good job of establishing that Ducky is very outgoing, he's very gregarious, he's oddly formal in a way that is appealing. And then you just see him sitting in this back room of the bar at this table completely by himself. And you read him in that earlier chapter, and he's just radiating this deep grief, this great deep sadness, and like, man, today's gonna be really bad. And it's pretty easy to discern even there that he is sad about someone. But now we know that her name was Tabitha. She went by Tabs. Ducky proposed to her by putting a ring at the bottom of a glass, which always feels a little bit weird to me. It's like they either notice it or they don't, and then they sort of have to fish it out, and then the engagement ring's covered in alcohol. It's I'm not it worked for the two of them, is what I'll say. So yeah, and moving on past the engagement, and then the song that was, and it was really lovely that as the dance was happening, and I was thinking to myself, what does this mean to Ducky? And how is this helpful to him? And you heard me sort of like working that out, and I realized that it was just the acknowledgement that someone cared about him. And then he said that aloud. He actually addressed that directly to Alex, that you cared about, I don't remember his exact language, but just this old man for a little bit, and that means the world. It's like Alex wasn't a surrogate for Tabs. Alex was an avatar for the caring of the community around him. And that was very powerful. And now I'm going to stop talking about it so that we can go on to something else, and I don't just dwell on that. So let's read through our... No, I'm here, video game. Come on back. Continue. Come on. Okay. 73%. Pike let Alex go after she removed his fear. 27%. Wow. A fourth of people, almost a third, but more than a quarter. Pike convinced Alex to sign Typhon's affidavit. I talked about that at the moment. I don't feel like Alex would ever back down from this, even under threat of life and limb. She might back down to protect her friends, but her friends would never forgive her. Here's the thing. Steph and Ryan are not engaged in this investigation because they're lifelong friends with Alex. They're engaged with this because they were longtime friends with Gabe. That's their driving motivation. They like Alex. They care about Alex. They want justice for Alex, but they also want justice for themselves, for their community. They want Typhon to pay for what they did. And to have Alex sign that affidavit is not only a betrayal of Alex to herself, it's a betrayal of her friends and their trust in a way that I don't think that they would ever forgive. And she is absolutely not protecting them. She's removing their options to go after Typhon. She's diminishing those opportunities. We could never, in my view, we were never going to be able to sign that. 62%. I'm not at all surprised to see this in the majority. Alex gave her rose to Steph. The 6% who didn't, is it possible that they advanced the story accidentally to a point where that was no longer possible by doing the music? Because believe me, I wanted to hear the music, but I also wanted to walk around and talk to everybody. And like, I'm playing through this game, I'm like, well, I know how video games work. I want to make sure not to go too far. I was borderline thinking I will reload the scene if we don't get to give a rose, because there's no universe in which that wasn't going to happen. I have to wonder if that 6% of people accidentally didn't give the rose to anyone. If not, are they actually people who don't perceive any spark at all between Alex and Steph or Alex and Ryan? Because these characters are absolutely magnetic to one another. It is it's just hard for me to believe that 6% of people didn't want to pursue a romance, or more specifically, didn't think that Alex wanted to pursue a romance. It's not, now that I think about it, Alex's brother did pass away a month ago. And if you haven't been paying attention to the thing and you're sort of playing this in a very compressed time frame, it might feel like Gabe just died. And I've had games where I'm like, would you really want to pursue a relationship this soon after? Frankly, that's how I felt about the first Life is Strange. Rachel Amber had been missing for a while, and I don't remember off the top of my head how long that she'd been sort of off the board, but Chloe was absolutely, when I say desperate, I mean, Chloe was hugely driven to find Rachel Amber. So the idea that Chloe and Max would wind up in a romantic relationship as part of that, I don't want to take anything away from the people who consider that their canonical ending, but for me, that would have felt extremely odd to have, yes, polyamory is a thing, and, cool, that's great for all involved. For me, it felt like Chloe was so dedicated to the pursuit of Rachel Amber and finding out what had happened that to open herself, especially for Chloe Price, specifically her character, to be opening herself up to a close, vulnerable, romantic relationship with a best friend who had betrayed her in Chloe's mind, had betrayed her by leaving. That didn't feel true to the character. So I just never perceived, for clarity, I finished Life is Strange without really ever considering the possibility that there was a romantic connection between them. To me, Chloe and Max were like soulmates in a best friend sense, but I just never got that. So maybe that's what 6% were thinking, that it seems a little bit quick for Alex to be having feelings for others. But for me, Alex is different from Chloe in that she is highly empathetic, like beyond her control empathetic. And she spent so much of her life trying to learn mechanisms to control her own emotions that when she finds a place that she's happy with people who make her happy, that she would absolutely want to grab at that it would be an instinctual need to embrace this joy. And so for me, yeah, Steph, 100% Steph, all the way. 67%, Alex had a nice moment by the bonfire. I assume, again, like I wanted to hear the music. Like, I really wanted to do that. So I would assume maybe 33% of people just didn't see it. That would be my guess. There's a lot to look into, and I circled that area like 4 times and still found more stuff. They densely packed that spring festival with stuff to look at, so it would be easy for me to believe that a third of people just didn't find that one specific thing. 24%, Alex took a moment to reflect before talking with Jed. Oh, by sitting on the couch. Wow, I'm surprised that only 24% of people did that. Man, I wanted to listen to the music. I really want to hear the music in these games. I really do. Can I just zoom in on that, just because this might be the episode where it affects us more than any other? You can look, I have 100% confidence that you can type in the artist and song name of any song they've played in here on YouTube right now and listen to it. And when you are doing it free of charge. And by the way, like, the company, the record label, maybe the songwriter might get some advertising revenue off of you doing that. But what they won't get advertising revenue off of is if you take fucking like a minute to, acquire a program that will let you download that song and rip it into an MP3 and listen to it infinitely. So I ask you, who is benefiting from this policy of muting people on Twitch, where you'd be hearing the song in the context that it was licensed to be done, where it's in the context of what Alex is going through and what this moment in the story means, and that the people who made this game contacted the songwriters and said, your song is perfect. It's exactly what we want at this point in our story for these characters, and they got it all signed. Who is benefited from all the muting? No one. Stop it. And like, I know that there's been like abuse of licensed music on Twitch, but for the love of God, this is not the example of it. And now I will stop and we'll move ahead. Yeah, I took a minute to reflect before talking with Jed. I really wanted to hear the rest of that song, and I didn't feel like we were allowed to. Moving on. 24%. Steph and Alex mused about moving to Berlin. Wow, it's all, look how even it is, you guys. So we were, I picked number 2, 22%, or sorry, second most popular. Wow, 33% didn't meet Alex on the rooftop. Is that because they didn't give Alex the rose? Yes, 33% didn't gave the rose to Ryan. So I guess that's the 33% that didn't meet Steph, I guess. But other than that, 24% went to Berlin, 22% went to Salem, and 21% went to the ocean. The ocean just feels like, it feels fanciful in like an adolescent way. And me myself, Berlin would be awesome. Like for these two, Berlin would be awesome. I think they'd have a great time. Reading down, I guess, 62% Steph and Alex shared a kiss, 5% Steph and Alex hugged, 33% again, they didn't meet on the rooftop. So yeah, 2/3 of people didn't meet Alex on the rooftop with Ryan, and then 67% didn't meet on the rooftop. But how else might it have gone? So Ryan and Alex mused about her working in the record store. That was 11%. Or 22%, Ryan and Alex mused about her working in the Black Lantern. 31%, Ryan and Alex shared a kiss. Yeah, if you're going to go up on the roof with Ryan, it's easy for me to believe that you'd wind up making out. And then 2%, Alex and Ryan hugged. I'm so interested in the people that went up to the roof with either Steph or Ryan and just hugged. That's... I just everything about the setup, the giving of the rose and everything. 51%. Wow, look at the split. Alex and Charlotte, here's the 49%. Alex and Charlotte shared a bittersweet moment in the festival. So before we read on to the next percentages, that was another thing that occurred to me. Because Alex took Charlotte's memory, or Charlotte's anger, I feel like that emboldened her and made her more ready to take what's-his-face's fear, Pike's fear. It's the first moment since we did it that I was glad that that Alex took Charlotte's fear, because she knows that she can do it. She knows it has ramifications. She can brace herself at least a little bit against the ramifications that it's going to have for her, but she also understands that it can disrupt the emotional landscape of the person that she's doing it to. But in this scene, in this moment with Pike, it definitely feels like the right thing to do. I did what I did with Charlotte. I had Alex make the choice that she did because it felt like Alex was really distressed on Charlotte's behalf. She felt like there was something new that she could do for her, and that it was both the most empathetic choice to make, but also powered by the curiosity of, what does this new ability mean? This new extension, this new limb, I think that she compared it to at one point. What does it mean, and what can I do with it? And I don't feel good about how it came out, but in retrospect, I have to say that there's an element of, because now she knew that she could do it, it makes a lot more sense to the story that she would choose to do it with Pike. So, yeah, I think that I vastly would have preferred the bittersweet moment in the festival, but that's not what we got, and, all choices are final. 14%, Riley had already decided not to go to school. What were the other options? 53%, and I'm not surprised by this because she was way out there. More than half of people didn't find her at the bus stop. 18% Riley went away to college, and 15% Alex. Wow, Alex revealed Eleanor's illness and Riley stayed. I wonder what the sequence of conversations were that would have led to that, because if there's, I can't even call it a bright spot, if there's a reason, boy, I'm not even sure how to phrase this. This is very much curiosity and not judgment. I'm surprised that there exists a sizable percent of people that would, a non-zero percent at least, that almost 1 in 5, not quite, it's more like 1 in 4-ish. No, it's less than that, 1 in 6-ish, whatever. That there's people out there that would reach that point in the story and then say, listen, I need to let you know about Eleanor. But maybe during those sequences, because Eleanor doesn't have the support of Riley and Mac, her condition is more evident and it's more disruptive, and she's like her quality of life is diminishing more rapidly, and that's why people would feel compelled to say something to Riley. I know that that's probably where I would wind up with that, if that were to happen. It's so interesting to see the other ways that it could go. 14% Ducky joined the festival after dancing with Alex, and 86%, wow, didn't use her power with Ducky. That means that more people explored the town and found Riley than the 86 then went back to the back language. A lot more people found Riley than found Ducky, it looks like, because I just can't imagine that you would have found Ducky and not used the power. Now, I can understand that based on how the scene is, that if you were just like, you would want to meet whoever. Like, for me, it was Steph. I wanted to go upstairs and meet Steph, like, for sure. But I was like, well, wait a second. The first floor of the Black Lantern is explorable. We didn't explore it when we were leaving to go to the festival. Like, Alex just went to the festival. So what is in here that we get to look at? And in the exploration, found Ducky sitting at his table of contemplation in the back room, and that's what led to everything else. But the fact that only 14%, that is lower than I would have expected. I would have thought at least a third of people, 33%, would have done it. But one thing that I suspect very strongly, I don't think anybody went back there. If you're playing the game and you care enough to explore the environment and you went back there and found Ducky, I cannot possibly imagine that they would have walked back there and say, nah, Ducky looks fine. I'm going to leave him there. I'm not going to use my power, and then just leave. That would be, if you're out there and you did that, that is just surprising to me. And again, no judgment, just very surprised. 74% helped Jelly Bean Counter win the contest. I wonder if the 26% again didn't like find him, or didn't think to like check the Jelly Bean count, talk to the Jelly Bean Counter, check the lady, talk, check, because you have to do it a couple times. 42% helped Diner Buyer with his My Block post. 58% did not talk to Diner Buyer. He wasn't the most evident dude. Like, he was just sort of like out there waving people down, but you could overlook him pretty easily. It is notable to me that somewhat more people didn't talk to him than didn't find Riley. Yeah, because he was... You had to look around the town a bunch. I'm glad that we found him. 40%, Alex got the guy and gal friends together. 60% didn't help them admit their feelings. It's so interesting, the percentages, because again, more people didn't help them admit their feelings. Again, is that a choice that people made, or did they just not understand how to do it? It's very interesting to me, because they to me, because it's two people talking, they're easier to find than Diner Guy, because Diner Guy is sort of by himself, and not even like necessarily like on the main strip. He's like a little bit back, I felt. Anyway, that's gonna do it. That is a 3-part episode. Most of our episodes of True Colors have been 4 parts, but this episode came in a little bit shorter, so we finished it in 3. I don't necessarily have anything else to say that hasn't already been covered, so we will see you in 1 week's time for Chapter 5 of True Colors. And this might... I'll say this. Life is Strange 1 and 2 both came in at 5 episodes. Before the Storm came in at 3. Captain Spirit was sort of its own thing. If you were to consider Life is Strange 2 to include Captain Spirit, and I do, the argument could be made that it's actually 6 chapters, 5.5. But it is, all I'll say is that if the next part is if that's the final chapter, it feels like they've got a lot of ground to cover, because what's going on with Alex? How is she? How can she escape the mine? What's going to happen with Typhon? There's, if anything, there's more of a cliffhanger here than for any previous chapter. The amount of things that they would have to cover. So we'll see if next episode is the finale of the main story. And boy, I got to tell you, this is going to be a very, very long week for me, because I always want to see the next thing that happens, and never more than here. As much as I've enjoyed this story, this is going to be a very long 7 days. But we will see you again in 7 days' time, or depending on when you're watching this in the VODs, mere seconds. Until then, though, you guys, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.